Like I said, let's start with introductions. So, Coop, I'm going to throw it your way. I don't think you need an intro, but I want to start with you. Why don't you just quickly introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about what you've been up to, because I know the community is used to seeing you around and you've been quite busy. So, maybe just give us a quick intro and tell us what you have been up to.
Yeah, so I'm Coop. I'm the founder of Vern Alliance and the executive producer of Last Remains. And yeah, I guess a bit of background for people that might not know who I am. I've been programming since I was 9 years old. Started modding StarCraft maps and then modding MMO private servers and then evolved to getting obsessed with building game companies. So this is my fifth startup, and I'm super excited to finally be building in the Web3 game space after watching all the madness over the years and yeah, in terms of what I've been up to, I've been busy building this amazing team that you're going to be seeing up here. There's literally almost 80 people amongst the Earn Alliance insiders, and it's been just madness. And I have been kind of tweeting recently about how important it is to find the right people and bring the right brains together. And I'm super excited to kind of introduce and have Max introduce the people on stage because it's really come together and it's kind of the fruit of the labor that I've been. But I am looking forward to connecting more with everybody in the community and being more present soon as we move forward.
Thanks, Coop. What a great way to start it. And I agree. We're going to keep going through the intros here. So I think we're going to hand it over to the man with the wonderful mustache here as well. Unseen, well, I know you're going to introduce yourself as your official name, but take the stage, my man. Introduce yourself. Tell us a bit about your background and what you do for Last Remains.
Hey everybody! So it's super excited to be here and yeah, get to kind of connect with the community. My name is Vitaly. I am the lead narrative on Last Remains, and I'm here to spice up things, to get that story rolling, to get all of those very memorable NPCs and stories in the game. And my background, or where I hail from, is I come from actually a tabletop background. So I've been in the tabletop RPG scene for a very, very long time, and I worked on big IPs, starting from Dungeons and Dragons, Vampires the Masquerade, and then switched to video games. And my last two projects were also kind of connected thematically, even. So first, I worked on Warhammer 40K projects, and after that, I worked on the Legacy of Kain, kind of the sequel to it. So I'm all in zombie mode already for a very long time, and kind of want to bring that energy um, to the game now. And I think there's going to be super a lot of exciting stuff that everybody's going to be bringing to the board. So yeah, excited to be here, guys.
You guys probably know me and Coop. Vitaly's the first new face you have. Vitaly is coming in to make sure that everything has a lot of substance to it. So everything about the world, everything about the story that you have all been very curious about, Vitaly is very much wrapping all of that up, and he's putting the icing on top of the cake. Yeah, Holo's even saying Warhammer 40K is a franchise that has no luck with games. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that there is a huge demand from the fan base to keep that content very canon, right? But let's keep going on because we have a couple more faces. You won't see these faces, but you will hear the voices. So let's throw it over to Larry first. So Larry, I know people have not had too much of an opportunity to chat with you, and you are a man who's been around for a long time. So why don't you give everybody a proper introduction? Tell us a little bit about your background, and of course, what you do for Last Remains.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's very excited to meet you all. I see a lot of familiar faces here. I mean, a lot of players here that's been kicking my ass in this game for like a while. Um, I'm Larry. I'm pretty old. I've been in this industry for about close to 20 years now. So, uh, came from my art and design background. Did a bunch of console games back in the days and some mobile games. And I'm very excited to be using Unreal for this latest project. And my role here, I wear many hats. I like to think myself as a lead for the dev team, working on art and programming mostly. And yeah. So anything goes wrong in this game, any bugs, any optimization issues, I'm the guy to blame. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm pretty shy, so I don't talk a lot. Hey guys.
I imagine I'm not the only one that heard Larry be a little bit of a robot there. But the one thing that is constant about Larry is that he has not always the greatest connection, but he has fantastic dev skills. So, yes, Larry is the man behind the development of the game. He is overseeing the team that puts everything actually into your hands. So, all of the changes, all of the characters, all of the mechanics, everything that is inside of the game, Larry is working on it, and they're working very hard, including the optimization, which I know you all have been asking. Don't worry, we have some good questions about optimization coming up. So working very closely with Larry and Vitaly, of course, is actually our game designer who specializes in the economics, and he's making sure that all of the on-chain and off-chain economic stuff that we have going on in the game makes sense, it works, and it is going to be highly sustainable and enjoyable. So I want to hand it over to Graham. Graham, I hope you're doing good. I know you got a new mic, so I'm excited to hear that crispy, clean
Yes.
voice. But why don't you give us a quick intro and tell us what you do for Last Remains?
All right, thanks a lot, Max, and welcome everybody. Thanks for coming. So, I mean, I should probably show my face in the future, but maybe just not today. I'm a little bit unshaven and a little bit messy. But so, yeah. So my name is Graham Griffin. I'm kind of the heads of games and economy design at Earn Alliance. I'm basically responsible for ensuring our game products tick all the right checkboxes. So that includes things like the product vision, player expectations, business expectations, looking at the products holistically, frameworks, features, and systems all synergize, performing due diligence on the player journey, etc. Looking at the economy. This is actually very, very important. Ensuring sources and sinks for various currencies and resources are sustainable and minimize inflation. And I also dabble in a little bit of feature and system design when needed. So I'm also kind of like Larry, a little bit old. I've been in the game industry for about 20 plus years. And I started off as a C++ engineer and slowly evolved into design. So previously, before I came to Earn Alliance, I was a product lead, lead game designer and principal game designer. Most of my career has been based in Asia, particularly Beijing, China. And some of the more notable companies I've worked at before coming here. So one of my first big companies was Possibility Space, which is kind of interesting because we did a PC online multiplayer RPG, which was team-based. And it's actually kind of similar to what Last Remains is. You would actually go to a lobby, invite 2 or 3 other players to form a team, and then fire off into an adventure that would last about 15, 20, 25 minutes. After that, I did work in 6wave Studios in Beijing, Facebook Mobile doing strategy and casual games, Zynga Beijing doing mobile card collecting RPG games, Ubisoft Abu Dhabi doing mobile mid-core build battlers. And just before joining an alliance, I was at Virtual Gaming Worlds doing social casino games and working in a incubation, exploring product ideation and growth opportunities. And I'm very excited to be here. Thanks.
But we have a new face that is being welcomed to the team that I would like to refer to as the glue of Last Remains, and that is our new associate producer. So, Lewis, I don't know if you're ready to chat, but I would love for you, I know it's your first day, but I'd love for you to just say hello to the community, to give a quick introduction and tell people what you're going to be doing with Last Remains. We've got introductions out of the way. Now we want to get into what you all actually came here for, and that is the question. So, I want to know, and Coop, I'm going to hand this over to you. It's been a while since I've done this, so I hope you're ready for it. But I want to ask you, especially with all of the changes, with how long we've been working on the game, I want to ask you this very basic question. What kind of game is Last Remains right now? What is it? Is the genre change? Has, the verbatim change? Tell us about it. What is Last Remains in its current state?
Should I speak in a way that, nobody knows what Last Remains is?
A little bit, maybe a little
And a
bit.
bit
Just
of
let us know,
history.
like, a
Yeah.
little bit
So
of history, I think, would help as
yeah,
well.
cool. I'll try to keep it concise. So I think the main thing that has changed is that we learned a lot more about the market, and we used to call Last Remains a stealth zombie battle royale, and we are slowly shifting to calling it a stealth zombie extraction game. And
So
one
like
thing that
StarCraft.
we've been kind of juggling with, and speaking to investors and the community and everyone around the world, is like, is that enough to really explain what it is? And one of the key things that I think people don't know when they play Last Remains for the first time, which we should do better at, is that it feels more like an action RPG than it is a shooter. because most extraction games are renowned for being a shooter, such as Tarkov, and especially in the Web3 space, such as
See,
Dead Drop and Shrapnel, and now Off the Grid, which is slowly working up the ranks. And yeah, but we're way different. It's all about being able to take a frying pan and whack somebody down and take their NFTs versus, finding a gun and taking somebody out in a split second. So in terms of the ethos, it hasn't changed. I remember speaking to Larry a long time ago, and a lot of the people on the stage are actually quite new. The team has been growing a lot, which I hope we can dive into. But the essence that Larry and I used to speak about a long time ago was the feeling of finding a rare item and getting so excited that, wow, I'm usually grinding, I'm playing the game, but now I have this legendary, flame sword, let's just say for funsies, and you can't keep it unless you win the game. And that is the essence. Aside from a second essence, which I think we're still working on, which is you see this zombie and you are just fearful because you just know you don't have enough resources and you're not ready to take them out because zombies are just so difficult to go up against. And we just started introducing some of the new zombies, which are starting to make it more difficult and provide that feeling. So with that, that's kind of the high level of like two different feelings in terms of the genre. It has shifted to a Zell zombie extraction, and hopefully we throw in the word action there as we keep evolving.
Thanks, Coop. Appreciate it. So yeah, point of that question, of course, is to just let everybody know who's maybe watching this later on, a quick intro to what Last Remains is, but more importantly, to let you guys know that, we're taking the approach of communicating what Last Remains is very seriously, because in the very beginning it was a mouthful. We used to joke about that, but we don't want it to be a mouthful. We want it to be easy for people to understand and easy for people to want to come and actually get involved in. But this is a very, very often asked question. People want to know about launch. So I don't know who specifically wants to take this, but people want to know, when is Last Remains officially launching? Is it actually going to come out this year? Some people are, curious, even a little bit concerned with the current dev cycle. Is it realistic that it's going to come out this year? When is it set to launch, and how? What platforms is it going to launch on? How are people going to be able to play it? So
but I don't get. They say
again,
it
I don't
isn't
know
a
if we
shooter,
want to
but they have
throw it
guns
back
in
to
it.
Coop again, or if Graham,
I'll take
you
it
want to
real
jump in
quick.
here? Yeah, Coop, go
I'll
ahead.
take it real quick, but I think actually we should be honest and transparent. So I think it'd be really good to get Graham's perspective after mine, just like on how you feel about the game design and economy and stuff, and then Larry as well. But my quick take is that we are aiming for early Q4, but I feel like this is going to be a late Q4 release. And one of the things is that we're still getting organized with bringing this new team together. It's not new. It's not like we lost the team. It's just the team is growing and we're getting organized as a group. And one key person that just joined a few weeks ago that isn't here is a lead marketing person who is dedicated to marketing Last Remains. So we're getting a lot of dedicated resources to this project as of recently. And once we get organized, I think we'll have a better idea on like an exact date. But we're really pushing for this year, especially in the essence of early access and playing 24/7. But would love to pass the mic to maybe Larry to give your essence of like your vision of like a potential release this year and how you feel about it.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so I'm also kind of like looking at the Q4. I wouldn't say early Q4. I could see kind of like late Q4, maybe early 2025, depending how things go. But I think it will accelerate quite quickly. There's a lot of really large core systems that are still in the process of being development. That's things like looking at something like meta, and also I guess character skills. Once we start to get these kind of things in there, I think we'll see that have a better accurate picture of when it will actually be able to do a release. But things are going on track right now. They feel really, really good. So I'm also saying that I got my fingers crossed, and I'll say Q4, late Q4.
Again, so there's actually two interesting things that are going on. One is that marketing is getting fully ramped up on this. Lewis is getting fully ramped up on this. We actually have a roadmap, and but with the new marketing person kind of shaking things up, it might all shift. So it just doesn't make sense to like release something and then shift something quickly. But what's going to be interesting is that this roadmap is only going to go up to potentially our token launch. And the reason being is that it's advised to not actually say much about deadlines like Q1, Q2, Q3 after your token's actually live. Otherwise, it's considered a speculation and investment vehicle. We definitely want our token to be a utility. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're as verbose as possible about the game and then what's going to happen this year up until our TGE. And then after that, we're going to share the vision of what the project is going to be moving forward. And of course, that vision will be evolving with the community as the game, continues for years on end. So that's pretty much what I could share in terms of like timing. I feel pretty good about the marketing stuff that's coming together, and I would hope by the end of this month, like we can at least share our first draft, and if not, get it like public at the end of the month to the first week of August. And it's a lot. Like I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot today, but there's so much that was not on the light paper that is now being officiated into the light paper right now. And I think Graham is almost done with like the last couple tweaks of like decision making to make sure that it's super clear too. So it's all coming together, guys.
I can probably start off with this, and then Larry can probably give a little bit more details. So we are doing character progression on the per season. So that means each season that you start, everyone will start on equal footing. And part of the character progression is actually be able to unlock character skills and equip them to the characters. There'll be two types of skills, passive and active. Yeah, I don't go too much on this. There's quite a lot of exploration in this. So that's kind of like at the high level is what it is at right now.
Hopefully they will make it
You
pay
play
to
the game
win
this
then.
season, you collect skill points, use them to invest, unlock skills. And the lobby, depending what the character is, you can equip those skills to those characters. Some characters might have prerequisites, I guess, for that particular skill to synergize a little bit better. But it's something that should add a lot more depth to the play.
So basically, what is conveyed that we don't want to give away too much. Definitely, a lot of things are being made with a purpose. So no more zombies, or they haven't been done that way. But we don't want to make just a zombie just because we need another set of zombies. But we definitely want to integrate everything with gameplay. And now that there's world building being done, we're kind of intertwining everything. That kind of everything makes sense in the game. And obviously, there's a big part that I think the team hasn't been telling you guys about, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world building that I hope at some time we're gonna reveal, and it's gonna be a really big smack in the face for everybody because it is super exciting. It really looks nice. The concepts are coming in. I'm the guy who sees them, so I can definitely convey the energy that's going on in the creative part. So we are catching up with actually supporting the game with really cool stuff. And of course, the new zombies are going to be coming from this meta that is being built up. So I've seen some stuff already. Just take my word for now. Just believe it. And it's going to be really great. Yeah.
Okay, we will take his word.
I will
for
just
now,
say
chat.
that, like, I think the just to repeat the essence is that we don't want to say something and then like it doesn't get done, um, I think we've all seen the original trailer of the big zombie, and that was not just a CGI trailer. Like that big zombie actually was in game in one of our very most early tests with KOLs. If anybody was part of that, I think Guru was definitely there before he was with us to see the big boy. And that is being worked on right now. So if it works out, it works out, and then we'll make it into the game. But again, like a game is an art form, and sometimes when you put pen to paper, it just doesn't look good and doesn't feel good, and you take it back out. So let us cook, and it's going to be cool. But I'm glad you guys are enjoying the Riot Zombies, and no doubt there's going to be more of that.
I think the most important question we need to answer here is when flying zombie. Everybody needs flying zombies. They're coming, right? We need a confirmation. Can we get like somebody to take ownership here and at least have the flying zombie exist in the world, even if it's not playable in the game. There's got to be some sort of flying zombie representation in the world. We're sending that your way, Vitaly. We need to have that exist in the world.
Are you suggesting that we just walk around the level and we just see flying zombies like birds there, just to be there, just to make you feel bad? That sounds amazing. I'm sure that is in scope because, right? I think Larry has mentioned that the problem with the Riot Zombie, there's a lot of technical stuff around it and gameplay stuff because it is flying for. So yeah, if you want to go, hey, it's what is that? It's a plane? No, it's a flying zombie. Definitely could do that.
People are curious about playtests. So at this point in time, playtests obviously happen every 2 weeks. The playtests themselves, it seems like every other playtest will have a new update of content and potentially optimizations for people to test out. What is the plan for playtests moving forward? So we have one today, obviously, but are playtests going to stay the same? Are they going to change? What are we doing about playtests moving forward? This is something that has been asked quite a bit, and I'm even curious myself. So I don't know, Coop, if you want to take it. Graham, if you want to take it away.
Yeah, I'll start. Yeah, so I think the main thing people need to know is that our liquidity is not, indefinite, right? Like matching up with nobody or like, a small server with just a few
Okay, chat,
people
another
is
20
not the
minutes
best for the
of the
economy.
AMA and then we can play the game.
And right now we are keeping pretty lax rules on matchmaking, which we need to
Yo.
fix, and we also need to more optimize rules to make sure that the South American
Yeah, it's also because they
the
are
South
talking,
American
I
servers
think.
are actually matching correctly. So once we can double down on our queues, and then we also increase liquidity, then we feel more confident to run the tests for longer than 24 hours. We did shift it from Saturday to Friday, so I hope that helps out some people. I know some people were saying Sundays were not the best day for them. But when will we get more liquidity? So the first thing is that we now have a dedicated marketing team. We're going to be doing a big marketing push soon around Web2, right? So actually, majority of our users are actually not in crypto, and they are just hanging out, like traditional Tarkov players. Is actually a majority of the feedback that we've seen so far. Also, we need a better way to improve our UI to let people know a test is coming. A lot of people are kind of confused on the UI right now, so we need to make sure that the user experience is super clear so that we can help build up the liquidity. And then finally, we're going to be putting this game on Steam as well, right? So once it's on Steam, that's going to be a lot more eyeballs than Epic. And we're also going to be able to use a lot of the emails that we have been capturing and actually have a marketing team reach out to existing players that have played in the past so that they can come on at the same time. So with better liquidity, we will increase time. Once we get closer to launch day, we will start opening up the test for an entire week. So we'll run it for 7 days. Not sure if it'll be open 24/7 for 7 days, but again, it's kind of based on liquidity to make sure that there's enough people online to match up with. But yeah, that's my take on that. I'm not sure if anybody else has something to add.
The playtests at this point in time are striking a balance between actually testing out the game, right? Like, you guys don't even understand how valuable your feedback is, how valuable your time spent playing the game, running into bugs. Sometimes they're frustrating. We get that. We appreciate you guys going through this. But all of this is very important, right? Because it helps us improve. It helps us understand what works, what doesn't work in the game, what you guys want, what generally players would want to see in the game, and we continue to improve on that. The other thing, of course, is that the playtests being the way that they are, with the ability to go and loot NFTs and equipment, is also a way for us to show support for all of you who are supporting us early on, right? Like, a lot of people, of course, don't. Funny, man, I see that. A lot of people, of course, when you come in and you support a game as early as you did Last Remains last year, and again, we have not forgotten about that, right? You sometimes have to sit there on a bag for years, not getting any value back. Well, we have for months now been giving you guys early access to come in and play the game with enhanced drop rates to start building up your own war chest to help kind of kickstart the economy and have a head start when the game officially launches. So I hope, again, you guys can appreciate that we put this opportunity forward. Now, I did hear that one person specifically asked if they're going to be ramping up close to launch. I will tell you guys this. Playtests are going to work differently close to launch. Like Coop mentioned, we would love to be able to have the opportunity to open it up for longer than 24 hours, do a longer term playtest with higher liquidity. I do know as well, there's been a lot of ask about tournaments. Yes, that's my area of expertise, so don't worry. I have been pushing for tournaments, but we need a tournament ready game for it to be ready for something like that. And we want to make it an extra spicy one. So definitely get your practice in. We will have some tournaments coming in. We want to make sure the game is ready for that, and of course, our marketing is ready for that. But they are coming, so definitely going to be coming. People want to know what's the plan with upcoming NFT distributions, sales, etc. We promise people Genesis equipment. What's the plan with Genesis equipment? What does that look like, right? So I really want to get those answers from you guys. Maybe first things first, do we have plans for a future NFT sale of any sort? And then second off, what's the plan with Genesis equipment? When are people going to be able to redeem their Genesis equipment?
Yeah, definitely a plan for sales. And the moment that there's a sale will be the day that you can get the Genesis equipment. Right now, marketing is figuring out when the right time is going to be. I think it's going to be close to um, like the launch. Like, I think it should be a moment where the game is at its peak interest and there's a lot of eyeballs on it. It might even be one of the first purchases of people in the Web2 space who are buying into a Web3 economy, which would be really cool. Yeah, so I think definitely it's needed, right? And it's gonna be one of the most, like, characters are characters and they have skills, but Genesis equipment, and then being able to use your perfect pass, mint perfect pass, to get Genesis, it's gonna be the most in demand NFT collection because it's gonna be rare, right? Somebody might only have one or two katanas that are Genesis, So, and once we enable durability on everything, which again, I hope you guys are enjoying a world with no durable items. Those NFTs are surviving at the moment, but that won't, last forever. This Genesis equipment is going to be, very awesome. So, yep, that's my take on Genesis.
Okay, cool. I mean, again, guys, I'll push for it a little bit more. I think what Coop had mentioned is a little bit closer to launch. I think to follow up on that, then is there any word on potentially maybe doing like a loot box sale or something, or like I know we were hinting at a loot box promo a couple of months ago. Is there still plans for that at all, Coop?
Yeah, we want to do a loot box sale. That would probably not have Genesis, equipments in it though. Um, yeah, I think a Genesis equipment, if I'm not mistaken, you will get one new one, just one item, but it's not going to be like a loot box of like many items of Genesis. Again, I do want to keep the supply quite low and allow many people to have an opportunity to purchase. So how the loot box would work, for example, is more being able to work with content creators and giveaways for claiming these loot boxes, and then also um, like having individuals be able to come to the site and essentially purchase them. But the loot boxes will have a high chance for higher grade items, and it will be probably one of the few, if not only, opportunities to get a loot box for equipment. Because otherwise, once you get into the actual game, the game is live. The only way to really get this equipment is by playing the
Yo,
game.
what's up?
We won't be introducing loot boxes indefinitely.
Do we have any idea when equipment durability is coming into play and how it will work? Anything we can share around that?
I can walk through how it would work. It would work on durability would decrease each time you take the equipment in a match. So if you say that you had 100 durability in the equipment, you play the match, it would reduce to 99 after you finish that. So that's kind of like one of the ways we're going to have a sync for equipment. And then as that durability goes down to 0, the equipment breaks, and then you can break it down to the shards if you wanted to.
Okay, that's great. And I mean,
Yep.
on that same point, because Kiesel had brought up a message about shards, and it seems like at this point in time, there are already shards in circulation because, of course, we
Yep.
had search and rescue, etc. Do we have a plan for those? Because I know that they're building up. They're building up consistently, and I know that there's been a little bit of concern about that supply going as high as it has before the game has launched. So, do we have any plans for that? Like, is that maybe going to be tied to loot boxes at all, or what's the plan around that, Graham?
So I mean, right now that's something I'm still kind of like exploring a little bit, but it probably revolve around creating additional sinks, making the sinks more expensive to drain more. or even looking at controls on spending as well. But this is something that needs to be investigated a little bit more. I don't want to just jump to and just announce a solution just right now, but we are exploring that. So I don't want it to something like this to impact negatively upon the economy.
I think another question here that people are curious about when it comes to like equipment, tokenomics, etc., coming up is ZT. Do we have? I know we've talked about it, and there's been a lot of questions asking specifically about ZT. What's the plan with ZT? Do we have any dates or any? I know again, Coop, we can't mention dates in general, but I mean more dates to kind of give people more clear announcements around it. Also, do we have more information about maybe the utility use case for it? Because I know a lot of people are curious. What is the point of ZT? What is it going to be used for in the game? Anything that we can elaborate on that, or is that still kind of a work in progress?
I just had 2 kids running here, so hopefully
No worries, Coop. Graham, you want to take this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have him start and then I'll follow.
Okay. I mean, I guess for major utilities, we are having battle passes. Battle passes can be purchased with ZT. We're definitely looking at that. There is the concept of unlocking items from the game. So if you have a character NFT, you go into the game, you find items, graded items that is, and you want to bring them out. We are looking at a system where you can unlock those items by purchasing keys or tickets, however you want to call it, and they would require ZT. There's equipment repair as well. So they're probably the major sinks for it. Looking at the more competitive aspect of it, guilds. To create a guild, you would require ZT. Maybe we think we're still investigating this as well, but maybe for like a lot of tournaments or some certain events, you might require an entry fee, which could be ZT as well. So that's what I can share for the utility on it so far.
A lot of interest on the token. The main thing is that the sentiment market is in flux right now. So you'll probably see a slowdown of token launches in general. And the other thing is that a lot of people actually don't like to plan tokens too far in advance, even exchanges at this point. But what's really cool, and I actually just published a draft of a document that's going out internally here in the company, is that in the last 2 to 3 months, me and the team have come together and created like an advisory team, and we have a really good idea about what it takes to make a token successful, and how to actually launch it like at your will. So I would say, we can confidently say that, we are going to launch a token. We are planning it to be a utility token, and it's going to have, strong factors within the game. I think the biggest one is going to be repairing items. So some of your most rare items, you can imagine getting one in season 1 that's about to break that you want to keep alive forever. You'd be using a zombie token to keep that going. And that, we will do the standard, go to public sale. We'll be aiming to, list things on exchanges. And we'll definitely be on DEXs. In terms of like having our own chain and a gas token, I could say that we are planning on having our own chain, but the zombie token will not be used as a gas token. So we're probably going to be leaning more into a free gas economy, very similar to Ronin back in the day, but we'll do that indefinitely instead of forever. And instead of like a limited time and then changing it for to become a gas ecosystem. And one of the reasons why we're thinking of that is that we do want our economy to be completely transparent as we evolve versus kind of this Web 2.5D arena. Yeah, so I mean, there's lots of plans around the token. I think they will be revealed as we get closer. I guess one more thing that will determine the token launch that I can share is that sometimes people want the tokens to come out after the game versus before the game. There has been some stories of exchanges canceling projects that just launched the game, did not launch the game, but said they were going to launch the game before the token. So with that said, like we do need to have those conversations with exchanges and see where they're comfortable at, because if they want to see the game out first, that means that, as I said the token would have to come out after. So that's the dance that we're doing right now. And yeah, at the end of the day, I would say that I'm a huge believer in making sure that we test the token before it goes live, similar to what we're doing at Earn Alliance. So I would imagine you all being able to use the zombie token well before you're able to trade it, just so that we can test that in advance.
Definitely the sentiment is have the product live before we start, putting token and liquidity on the market. I think that's solid. Most people seem to be in agreement with that. Another thing I think is being able to use it, having a use case for it, because there is some of it in circulation, not on-chain circulation, but off-chain circulation. It'd be great to be able to give people a chance to start using it, testing it. Who knows? Maybe some of you guys buy a Bitcoin pizza, but hey, that's the risk we take in this space. But ZT to 100, am I right? No, you guys don't clip that. That's not right, okay? I didn't say that. That is not right. We mentioned our own chain. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Like, are we building our own blockchain? What's the reason for this? Because some people are curious, like, why build our own blockchain? Is it just for fees? Are we planning to do like more of a subnet, kind of like what people do on AVAX? Anything you can share about that, Coop? Because I know a lot of people are really curious.
For Scale, after speaking to many different chains, Scale is one of the few chains that will allow you to do no gas without needing to host your own network. And what that means is that we would need to get nodes and validators. For people who know what that is in crypto, in order to process transactions, you need a machine, and you need thousands of machines in order for it to be properly decentralized. And somebody needs to host thousands of machines to create a decentralized network. So if we were to create our own chain, we don't want to have to do that and have our community need to create a bunch of validators, but we do want the transparency of the entire economy, which means that so there's over 250 to 300,000, I don't know the exact number now, gamers that have played Last Remains, which sounds crazy, and 70% of them are Web 2. And right now you guys can't see that because we're Web 2.5D, right? So having the entire economy and all the transactions being sponsored by us because we're running a no gas chain through Scale is very possible and cost effective. So I've been speaking closely with their team, and they seem like they know what they're doing as well. I'm pretty happy with them. And on the Sui side, they're actually one of our biggest fans of the project, and they actually have some really good token strategies that I can't really get into. So those are the conversations that are going. So it's a complete transparent update on like what ecosystems that we may land on. But I think what's key is that that you guys won't have to worry about gas in the future.
I know we just had a meeting about this, so maybe we can give people an update. That bridge situation, the bridge issue, we just confirmed kind of what was wrong, and we have some plans going forward. Can we update the community really quick on it?
Yeah, so there's an exploit, which I won't go into detail, that may have caused some duplicate items. So we wanted to stop the bridge before those items went out. Unfortunately, with travel and people taking time off, it's taken us a bit longer to solve the issue, which is why the bridge is down. In the near future, there will be dedicated engineering teams to solve this in a faster pace. But with that said, there's two issues. One is that we found this exploit, so we disabled items going out. And then I believe when the team was trying to block, items from going out, they broke items from coming in. Now, the good thing is that everything is tracked and it's on the blockchain, and everything's good to go. So we know if there were any items lost, they will be produced when this fix goes out. And for the duplicate items, we're going to go ahead and delete them. I would just say out to the community as well, if you do find any exploits, definitely let us know about it in advance. In the future, we won't be as nice and just delete items. We will be banning accounts.
Thanks, Coop. Yeah, you guys, 100%. I think so. Big Tommy mentions a really awesome thing here, and we have talked about it, by the way. So nothing confirmed, but definitely he mentions exploit bounties. Definitely going to be a thing. I know we brought it up before, Coop. I think we just have to get a system together. Maybe we can kind of prio something like that going forward, because definitely we think we should reward people who find things that could affect the economy negatively and actually bring it to our attention early. So definitely we're going to have something like that up.